Imagine a swarm of 10,000 delivery drones perfectly synced over a city. And then, a single microscopic glitch in one temperature sensor causes the entire swarm to drop out of the sky. Welcome to a new deep dive.
Yeah, that is a terrifying visual, but it's a real risk.
It is, because today we're looking at why our most advanced tech is practically built to fail. And the wild mathematical shield designed to fix it.
Right, because right now our hyper-connected systems, things like 6G, AI inference engines, plasma fusion, they rely heavily on probabilistic models.
Basically, highly educated guessing.
Exactly. I mean, it's stochastic math.
Yeah.
As you scale that up, systemic chaos isn't just possible, it's inevitable.
Which is exactly why we are digging into the Geodesic Shield Architecture Report by 206 Innovation, Inc. Our mission today for you is to unpack what they call the Dillon Curvature Framework.
It is a very dense, math-heavy proposal, but the core goal is simple.
Right. Replace the shaky guesswork with a deterministic mathematical shield.
And the fundamental leap here, it relies on something called curvature variable physics, or CVP.
CVP. Okay, break that down for us.
So instead of treating data routing or thermodynamics as unpredictable waves governed by chance, CVP maps them onto a dynamically evolving topographic surface.
When I was going through the sources, the best way I could visualize this was by comparing classical machine learning to, rolling dice.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
Yeah, you're tweaking weights, tossing the dice, and just hoping the probability works out. But this CVP framework is like carving a physical funnel out of wood.
Yes, exactly.
The marble, or the data, it has no choice. It literally has to roll exactly where the geometry forces it to go.
That physical constraint is the entire key to the system. You stop asking, what are the odds, and you start dictating the absolute path of least resistance.
So energy and data naturally flow down these engineered curvature gradients.
Right, it's a completely forced path.
But here is my hang-up. Even in a perfectly carved funnel, a speck of dust can make the marble bounce off course. So how does this framework handle the inevitable friction of the real world?
Well, it operates on two scales simultaneously. At the macro level, you have what the report calls omega calculus.
Omega calculus. That sounds intense.
It really does. But think of it as a massive artificial gravitational pull. It draws the whole system toward a terminal attractor.
So it forces the system into a state of syntropy.
Yeah, syntropy, which is really just a fancy way of saying perfect self-sustaining order that actively fights off decay.
Wait, I need to stop you right there.
Yeah.
Because a giant macro-gravitational pull sounds great for the big picture, but it's like putting a Band-Aid on a dam.
How do you mean?
Well, if a single quantum fluctuation or thermal noise hits a tiny node, how does macro management stop a massive sovereign power grid from cascading into a crash?
It doesn't. And that is exactly why you need the micro-level defense, the CVP spin overlay.
Okay, the spin overlay.
Yeah, think of it like a ruthless bouncer at a club. It constantly watches the microscopic spin state of localized processes.
Oh, wow. So the millisecond a tiny fluctuation starts acting erratic.
Bit of thermal noise, yeah.
Yeah.
This overlay instantly freezes it. It kicks the anomaly out before it can start a brawl that brings down the whole system.
So it's identifying and quarantining the chaos at the absolute smallest level. That makes a lot more sense.
That's brilliant.
And, it leads perfectly into one of the wildest real-world applications in the report, the Internet of Bio-Nanothings, or IoBNT.
Oh, yeah. This part is fascinating.
We are talking about microscopic biosensors floating around inside human bodies, transmitting data via terahertz signals.
Which, on its face, sounds incredibly dangerous,
Right.
The scale difference between a biological molecule and a terahertz wave creates severe friction. And normally that friction generates heat.
Which sounds like a recipe for frying human cells from the inside out.
Exactly the problem. But the framework uses a mechanism called toroidal refractance. Imagine a biological Faraday cage.
Okay, so it protects the cells.
Better than that. It bends the geometry of the transmission space, so the energy loops back on itself continuously at the boundary.
So the signal never bleeds out, meaning it passes through your biology without causing a fraction of a degree of heat damage.
Exactly.
But if we're putting zero heat biological sensors inside our actual veins, we cannot afford a single error. How do we prove the system didn't malfunction?
Well, this is where the curvature vector engine comes in. Because everything in this system is mathematically deterministic, there's no dice rolling. Remember, it creates an integrity plane.
Meaning you get 100% replay fidelity.
It is a flawless audit trail. You can rewind an AI decision or a medical nanobot's action exactly as it happened, down to the microsecond.
That makes blockchain look like a child's ledger.
It really does.
And this brings us back to why you, listening right now, should actually care about a bunch of complex geometry. This geodesic shield isn't just abstract math.
No, it's the invisible architectural foundation required to make our future safe.
Right, whether that's autonomous transport, stabilized financial markets, or medical nanobots. We need it to be fundamentally safe for everyday life.
We're really looking at the transition from a world built on guessing to a world built on mathematical certainty.
Which leaves me with one final thought for you to chew on today.
Let's hear it.
If the Dillon framework actually succeeds, if it uses geometric mapping to completely eliminate chaos and force our entire technological world into perfect deterministic predictability, is there any room left for true randomness in our future?
That is a big question.
Or have we just engineered the luck right out of the universe?